Azretia mae begazo Balezwa mae begazo Anyazwa mae begazo Be mae zizo blazo Blazo Mamia kisi minya ule muktakolo Kiswa zwali ya yefe Mami que si familia moni oni tolo, chiswazo ali ayefe. Balongo longo 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 mao mao. Balongo longo 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 mao mao. Balongo longo 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 mao mao. Balongo balongo longo longo mao mao. Te fezwa maebe gazo, anyatia maebe gazo. Brahma kota mae bedazo, petit Paris a mae bedazo, be mae zizo blazo. Blazo, blazo, so blazo, 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 so blazo. On a gagné, on a gagné. Blazo, blazo, so blazo, 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 so blazo. On a gagné, on a gagné. Hey, hey, blazo, hey. Oh vieux briscard. Et la nuit tous les chats sont pris, en blanc j'ai sapé. Et voilà lélé, tu es ma gadie en préféré. Tu es ma chérie en préféré. Tu es ma gadie en préféré. Ma chérie en préféré, mon ami en préféré. Tu es ma gadie en préféré. Tu es ma chérie en préféré. Tu es ma gadie en préféré. Ma chérie en préféré, mon ami en préféré.
to get out of bed, but you got them to talk for 5 seconds or 5 minutes. Or you got them to sit up in the bed to have a conversation with you. So those all count as positive steps towards recovery and towards improvement and treatment. Okay? Yes, sir?
Knowledge that whenever we having patients, it's not necessary to yell at them for doing session or other activities, but then you use the floating idea and you guide them through.
Yeah. So, thank you so much.
Of course, the patient came for intake and you got all the history. Some of the history they won't give you, but by doing that one interaction with our patient, so those are some, when you come to the treatment plan, you can successfully treat them because you don't know that part. But by doing that, you can get that information from them. So there's another part of their history that can help to improve their situation.
This as he did even before their relatives can give the history.
Yeah.
Sometimes they don't give you the actual history. So this brings me to the point that actually when you come back to them, they themselves will be able to explain themselves.
She was raped by something very bad. And she's in bed and don't want to get up and come and sit on her bed. To her, she found that offensive. That's why now you're into her territory again, just like the person that raped her was. So she might shut down legally versus where if you were just sitting in the chair next to her, she might be a little bit more receptive to talking to you. So you gotta be careful as far as giving them the privacy, the touching and the holding their hands, because you don't know, if you don't know their history, you don't know how they got there, what brought them there. Being emotional with them will trigger another issue. So and make it even worse for them to even open up to you.
So that was floating, staying with floating.
Why gathering the history, the mother kept saying she don't like to be around boys. Even when a man approached her, she would always. So I asked her if she had a boyfriend before, and the mother said, no, I didn't see her with a man. So then something came to my mind. I asked the mother, I said, can you please wait for us outside so I should ask another question? That time I would ask her, she would like twist. At last she said, please don't tell anybody. Then she came out, she said she was raped while living with another woman, and she had not told this to anybody. The first person, and should keep it as a secret. When they took her from her, they carried her Guinea, and she was raped again the second time. So she was raped 2 times without telling anybody, even the people she was living with, her mother and her father.
Wow.
Yeah.
What do you think as a nobody else? Let's try SCEP. SCEP stands for summarize, check, empathize, and proceed. SCEP is basically a collaborative process, as with all other interventions in CBT, okay? And it allows the patient to feel understood, validated, and empowered. We're going to put empathy in there, empathized with as well. Again, you guys will have copies when Jonah finally comes, so you'll have that. We can skip this because it's kind of just an overview. So I would need 2 volunteers. I need a patient and a therapist. So instead of having everyone do it, we'll have a patient and a therapist, just one person practice stepping, okay? So can I have a patient? Who's my patient? All right, so we should, yeah. Okay, so it's a scenario where, you can think of something, just explain a particular situation to me, maybe 2 or 3 sentences really brief. That's going on. Thank you.
Thank you.
Married, I have problems with my husband, he is like the children.
All right, we have to go louder so the.
And I feel that my husband don't like the children because they are not his. Because of our problem.
Okay. So that's perfect. So that's our scenario. So how do I summarize that? I would say something like, so what I hear you say is that you're married, you have some outside kids, right? And your current husband don't seem to like the children, and it's causing problems in your relationship. Is that correct? All right, so what I did right now, I summarized, right? So the next step is E. So I'll say something like, that must be really hard for you trying to balance, pleasing your husband, making him okay in the relationship, and also maybe if the children recognize that, this man don't like him or something, I'll say, it must be hard for you, trying to dance that dance. What's that like? So I would say something like that. So it gets at what you said.
Why did you say then?
Because I love my children, and I love my husband also. Which I'm finding it very difficult.
Yeah. I'll say, so how would so P, proceed. So what do you think you would like the most help with, or how should we go about tackling this? Or what's the most difficult part of this puzzle that we should tackle? Right, so I'm proceeding with my intervention. So did we follow along? So I summarized, I checked to see if I was right. I empathized with her, and I picked a piece that she would want to work on. I asked her though, I didn't say, what we should work on? We should work on the part about your husband. I said, where do you think we should start? The idea is, it's a collaborative process. She's the expert of her process, so she picks, right? Does that make sense? Yeah. Who wants to be the therapist? All right. Higher. And who wants to be a patient? We need a new, all right, here we go. I like this team. There we go. Oh boy. Wait, are we going to switch roles this time? Are you going to be the therapist, or are you still going to be the patient?
No, she said I should be the patient, right?
All right.
All right, you are welcome.
Could you speak up so the rest of your team can hear?
All right, I'm Noah Powell. I work here. So you are welcome. My parents brought me at the facility for treatment. I was here 2 years ago, and now I'm back. The reason why I'm back, I have a problem. Serious problem. I have serious problem. I started my freshman education in the Florida of Liberia. I was really taking in drugs. And whenever I smoke, I go take tests and eat. But now my mother and my family got to know that I was such a user. And they told me I shouldn't take it myself. I said I'm not to take it. But now look at my school. Now I'm a junior student now, freshman year, sophomore year, I was taking it, I was A student. But since I put it down, I'm not taking it, I just feel in my destiny and believe that people are taking it help me. And as I learned, say that this substance is dangerous for our health, but we are going to take it to pass.
If I got you right, you were here 2 years ago, and you were in you attended at University of Liberia, and you were there, you were taking in substance, and you were a brighter student.
Yeah.
Very smart.
Yeah, A. My test A. I was for A.
And now that you are left taking the substance, you are no longer smart as before. Is that correct?
Yeah, because I just call it that DF, maybe if I find a C, and that is not good for me. So I'm not passing here.
Okay.
All right, great. Did you hear the therapist summarize yet?
Yeah.
We all picked up on the summary? All right. Did you empathize yet?
No, that's why I'm coming to now.
Okay.
I do understand that you were A student when you were taking your substance,
Yes.
and now that you have decided to leave it, you are no longer doing well. That's how you think, and that's how you were going about it. Being on something that was doing good for you and leaving it, you found it embarrassing. I know how you are feeling about it. What do you think you can talk about concerning what you have just explained to me with respect to leaving the substance or being on the substance?
Pause. Empathize. Did we hear him empathize? I hear some no, I hear some yeses. What do you guys think? Using this substance and you felt as though you were doing this. And so that was some empathy. And the only piece that And then there was a but there. So I would pull those two components out because it's not so much what you think, it is his reality, right? So it is what it is. So you're just giving back exactly what he's giving you. Because sometimes when we say that's what you think, the message that's coming across is, oh, so you don't believe me? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Especially if you work with my patients who are like schizophrenic, they'll be like, you don't believe me? No. As a matter of fact, I do, I think. You know, so so that's the only piece. But I did hear empathy, and I did hear some of that. So you summarize, you empathize, you checked rather. You summarize, you check, you say, is that correct? Or there was a piece where he's empathizing with someone, or you're connecting with them when they're shaking their head like this. That year. So I think you were going to go to the last step, which is proceed. So proceed. Sorry.
Okay. Now that you have two important things bothering you, you want to quit the substance and you want to stick to the substance. Which one will you prefer?
Yes, so I believe that my smoke at the past, so I think there's that smoke. Just,
Yeah.
I heard you talking about your heard that substance abuse or substance use is dangerous to your health.
Yeah.
So, for you to take in the substance and harm your body or harm your health, and to live in, even if you can get appropriate, which one will you prefer?
I don't want to drive out of school. Even though my health comes down first, I don't want to drive.
Okay. If you have
I think he did a good job proceeding. I like the part where he said, so you talked about this, you talked about that. Which one do you want us to tackle? Which one do you want us to take? So I thought that was good. There was a piece that I scratched that I paused on. We had a little eye contact there. It had to do with I felt as though you were saying to him, I've heard you say that the substance is not so good for your body. It came off a little bit like telling and not floating. But you did twist it into into floating by saying, you put it back on him. You said, what do you think? So to harm yourself, what do you think? So it's tough because again, I don't need to come down. I think when we tell, it's coming from a good place. It's coming from a place where we want to problem solve. But the idea again is to put it on them. And I really think you did a good job kind of turning that. You could have just left it at that, but you put it back on him for you to problem solve. You guys did a good job. Thank you so much. And let's see. Okay. Good. I'm sorry I have a trigger step away. All right. So that is pretty much, as it relates to communication, that's a summary slide. That's what we've covered. We've covered using recovery-oriented language, not lazy, not attention-seeking. We talked about empathy. We did a lot of that. We talked about validation. I try to distinguish between empathizing and validating. We talked about guiding versus telling. What the two looks like, which one's a little bit more effective, and we also just sketched. So that's it on communication. Now I'm going to float an idea to you guys. We can take a 5-minute bathroom break and come back. I think that's a better idea, but I want to know what you think. Should we proceed or should we take a 5-minute bathroom break?
Let's take a 5 minute.
So this is the nitty-gritty that we've kind of worked our way towards. So with that being said, we can slide away. Very quickly, when we think about depression, we think about this cycle right here. Can you see okay? Can you see all right? Okay. A lot of times, patients who are depressed end up avoiding being inactive, like those states themselves being in their room. They feel demoralized, and so they withdraw. And what you see here is they're constantly in that cycle, and you can't really get them out by just looking at them. You have to actually, the idea of going in to do any kind of intervention is to reverse that cycle, which is the next thing on the next slide, please. So what we want to do, a lot of interventions that are for depression are targeted towards action. Because with depression, we think inactivity, not moving, not doing anything. So we're targeting, we're wanting patients to get involved in engage in activities that will foster mastery that will be social in some way, and that will be pleasurable. So that's basically the idea here, is that through engagement, they can have some type of enjoyment, they can be a little bit more active, and then we talked earlier that most depressed people have negative expectations. But if you can actually get them to do something positive and get them to draw a conclusion that they enjoy it, it might start chipping away at that negative expectation and shifting it to a more positive expectation. Like, okay, well, I tried it last time and I enjoyed it a little bit, so maybe this time around it might be a little bit more enjoyable. So that's basically the idea, and that's how we go about reversing that cycle. When we target depression, the goal really is to increase the person's motivation and engagement in goal-directed behavior. And by that we mean finding something specific, as I mentioned before, that is pleasurable, that they can enjoy, and that they actually want to do, as opposed to laying there and doing nothing, which is not goal-directed at all. And how do we go about doing that is over, and we also do it by reminding them of their coping skills through memory cards. So those are the 3 biggies that I'm going to cover today. All right? So that's them. With activity schedule, the goal is to target some level of recovery. We want to increase their motivation, which will then lead to improved functioning and reduce their depression. I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit of what activity scheduling is, but that's just the rationale. Again, another rationale for activity schedule is that people with depression have low energy, and because their energy is low, they're inactive, but that just feeds into them having even lower energy. So it's basically being, again, stuck in this cycle of just, I can't do anything for myself, I'm going to stay here and not do anything, which makes me feel sick, so I'm not, it's just not helpful. Okay? The activity schedule is basically a tool that we use, and it's exactly what its name sounds like. And it's a tool that we use to create some kind of schedule for the patient, and we build on it over time. And the idea is that if we can include goal-oriented activities, pleasurable activities, they'll end up slowly trying to move from being in bed to sitting upright to walking to then going to watching some video or whatever it may be. And I'll kind of outline that a little bit more as we go along. But what I've found and what research shows with activity schedule is that when we have things in place, when we can increase our patients' activity, it increases their energy level and it increases their motivation as well. So now we'll talk about activities. All right. So we know that people are happiest and likely to meet their goals when they engage in 3 kinds of activities, and I mentioned those earlier. Pleasurable activities, like someone mentioned before on that end about music and engaging in their hobbies and doing games. Mastery activities, like maybe they'll learn some craft and actually master it, or they'll do some exercise. Maybe before they could only exercise for 5 minutes, and now they can exercise for 6. That's a mastery. And then social activities when they spend time with others. So those are the 3 big times that we find that people are in fact happy. So, okay. How does an activity schedule work? Yes.
Or doing a particular activity. And you try to convince the person, maybe, it's something that they put forth as a way of not really doing what they're supposed to be doing, the activity at all.
Yeah.
I mean, what are some of the ways that you can, try to, let's say, remove that barrier?
It's called a defeatist attitude. I'm not going to try because it's not even worth it. You can then do what we're going to get into, which is the 3 C's. You want to then evaluate that thought, right? 3 C's really stands for catch it, check it, correct it. And it's really about problem solving around the thought. The idea is to shift that negative attitude to a more adaptive one. Not necessarily to a positive one, because people always think you're turning something negative to positive, but one that's adaptive. There's a difference. Alright, so I talked about that. For example, so you want to ask a patient, oftentimes when you sit to meet because I didn't think I was gonna like it, so what was the point of trying? I would ask about the thought. What's the point of trying? Do you think that thought is bringing you closer to your goal, or is it bringing you further away from your goal? Then they'll say, oh, I think it's bringing me further away from my goal. Well, how can we shift that thought so that it's a more adaptive thought than one that's negative? Getting out of bed, I would say, so what I'm hearing you say is that there's no point in getting out of bed because there's nothing you can do about it. Again, does that look familiar right there? We've tried this thing. Is there something that is called? That phrase right there, does it look familiar? Does it sound like? So it sounds like you think there's not much point in getting out of bed.
Water, you have used the word, it treats the children. So I remember writing certain things down, and I'm going, do not do the following. Do not drink, do not smoke, do not abuse your mother, do not destroy your wife. So I was surprised once he called. I'm feeling kind of bad. What do I do? So I told him, I said, but I gave you certain information, just type on your paper.
Yeah.
So what has come to my mind concerning this memory card is like, sometimes the patient themselves will even seem to be forgetful with whatever information that you wrote for them or the decision that they themselves took. And we keep asking in our presence.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's
to get angry, you have to do X, Y, Z. And then, right there, then the friend said, oh yeah, okay, I can remember.
Yeah.
And, what was supposed to, result in the conflict, right there, they have it, resolved.
People say, oh, you talk to people, piece of cake. But what if, you're not holding. So you're containing all this, and as a therapist, as a clinician, when you sit to meet with the patient, you have to detoxify all of their toxic stuff that they're giving you and then give it back to them in a way that they can take. So it's not easy. It's emotionally draining for you, it's mentally draining for you, and it's physically draining for you, especially when you're working with really tough patients. So at the end of the day, you still have to remember to take care of yourself. You know what I mean? All my memory card is like a positive statement a day or something, like I am strong, or when I used to do family therapy, my slogan was saving one family at a time, kind of thing. So I'd say that, I'm like, all right, today's a good day. You have to do little things like that. But again, we started this conversation talking about making sure we take our own advice and pampering ourselves. A memory card is a nice way to take the advice that you're giving to other people, use it on yourself. You know what I mean? Because it's helpful. It's nice that you're able to apply that. The other thing, a lot of times, talking about the patients and the behavioral stuff, I have I wish I would have brought it, but we weren't talking about those, so I didn't bring it. But I have a chart where you can actually, in this particular section, we haven't been here that long, but there are things that we remember that will stick in our heads because maybe something about it just kind of captured our attention. And there are things that we definitely will remember. So it's the same with families. There are things that we tell them, if we don't have it on paper, by the time they get out of here, they're just like, okay, whatever, I forgot it. So if you have a memory card, you can always say, please keep that in your wallet, please keep it in your pocketbook, in your purse, whatever, and they can, they can refer back to it when they need it. I like that. And then the other component that I didn't put a lot of emphasis on, but this is a huge piece, is the medication component. I was talking to Bakom. I still need to get, where are my meds? Where are my psychotropic medication? They were in, I wanted to bring them here. All right, we were talking about the lack of, the need for more psychotropic medication, antidepressant, and anxiolytics, things like that. We did bring some. I have to locate them, and my goal was to bring it today. So we'll figure out where it is, and I will bring it here. But medication component is really huge. Sometimes we have patients that are severely depressed. We may have to actually give antidepressants before anything else can even be done. You know what I mean? And if you look at the research shows that a combination of medication and CBT particularly is the most effective way to deal with patients with depression. So I tend to be one of those, I think people are overly medicated in the States. Definitely, like my finger is throbbing, I need medication. My ear is ringing, I need medication. So I tend to do a lot more emphasis on the therapeutic component because that's my passion and that's my love. And I feel as though it's not an easy fix. It empowers the person to learn how to better manage their symptoms without depending on a substance. But I also realize that medication is so important in terms of getting them to the place where they can even learn the coping skills that they need. So it's definitely a piece, you know, the SSRIs, SNRIs, all of those. I just kind of put some of the top ones, Zoloft, Lexapro, Prozac, Paxil, Cymbalta. Those are the big deal ones these days. So that's what's in there. All right, we're pretty much done for the most part. This is basically just a summary. So today we have been able to cover the basics of cognitive behavioral therapy. We talked about the cognitive model. We talked, you know, I kind of included the DSM diagnosis for major depression in there. We talked about the cognitive theory of depression. And then we also reviewed kind of fundamentals for CBT interventions. What are some basic things you need to know? And that was including the case conceptualization and also the communication piece, where we talked about, you know, stepping and empathy and all of that. And then we talked just now about more specific interventions that we can do. On the behavioral end, we did activity schedule. On the cognitive end, we did 3 C's, which is thought of as cognitive restructuring. And then we talked about memory cards, and you guys were able to come up with some really novel ways of working with a memory card, which I think will be very, very helpful. At this point, I would like to elicit, can you hit please? All right. I would like to elicit some of your feedback. So if you could please share to me, what do you think about today's training? What was new to you? What was reviewed? And if you have any other comments or suggestions, I'd like to hear from everyone so we can start from whichever end. All right, let's start from this. All 4 of those points.
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you for that, for the training. It was really rewarding. What do you think that I learned today? Learned about the memory card, which I know that I will start using soon. Review. All about CBT was reviewed. I've done that before. Any other comment, question, or suggestion? I don't know whether you are here. But I would like, maybe after some time, to come with another training again to build our capacity.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
As for me, this training was rewarding, and it helped us to, they asked me to revise our memory or sharpen what all we have learned in the past about CBT. And I learned about the memory card today, and will be useful for our patients. And as she said, we will want to learn other therapies about other diseases, that means depression, how to do though we do CBT in most of the other illnesses, but we want to learn some other specific thing about other illnesses that we deal with here.
Thank you.
Okay. I say thank you for coming again. I really enjoyed this program that you carry on. And my first time to hear about 3 C's. Yes, and it's very up.
Yeah.
And talk about it. And took that money into my head. And I was able to get along with it.
Yeah.
And I hope in the book tomorrow you have a chance to come back to me and talk about some things that have been left behind.
Yeah.
You know, we get them every time.
Yeah.
Thank you very, very much.
Thank you so much.
I want to be very grateful to all of you because this is what we here for here. There is no specific school in Liberia for mental health training. So anybody coming to impart knowledge of, we are very grateful about it. Actually, what was new to me, they are like what we talk about guarding and telling, the difference between guarding and telling. It becomes hectic for us sometimes to get patients to go to our various sessions. And sometimes you go see the person lying down, you're trying to wake them up, they're trying to give you a hard time, and sometimes you get so annoyed, you get so fed up until sometimes you get walk away. So I learned a whole lot concerning guarding from telling. And another new thing is that actually I used a memory card, but I didn't really know it was memory card I was using. So it's going to empower me more how to continue with the memory card. I like that word, memory card. With respect to suggestion, I will suggest that if you get back to the States, you can remember this facility. This is a facility we have in the country, but we don't have much support, especially when it comes on the line of therapeutic materials. We don't really have therapeutic materials for the patients, and sometimes they become so bored with monotonous things. You're doing one thing for like every now and then, sometimes it gets so bored with it. So I would suggest that you remember us in any way with therapeutic materials for our patients. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I want to thank you all for coming. Even though we learned some new things and some of it was just like review, but we learned a lot, especially for the activity schedule. Even though we have some fixed activity for patients here, we learned something new. So thank you for coming. You're welcome.
First of all, I want to say thanks to the administration that I had the opportunity to get in touch with you, so that you have come and imparted knowledge to what we have already. We want to thank you for this lesson. It's very, very important to us, especially for me. The floating idea and the 3 C's, and then the membrane card. I really enjoyed it, and I think we put into work. But as my colleague was saying, if you go back, we want you to remember us. I mean, your presence here seems to me that, tell her you've been here with us before. You know, you are just lovely, you just lovely, and you just releasing it. I think this thing is just part of you. As you are teaching, I just watching you, and for everything you just flow. So we want to say thank you. Remember us. Many times we can have shortage sometimes in medication and whatnot. So you say you came with some medication and you share it.
I'm tracking it down.
But so we don't know for our center. Yeah. So we thank you very much. May God bless you.
Thank you.
Well, for me, my colleague has said much, so I will say thank you. Most especially our administrator, our administration for getting in contact with you people to come and give back to your country. That's a very good thing. And our work will start to improve as we go along. We started the trainings some time back, and we are still going through it. It was good that other new things came out into it, so we are very grateful for that. Thank you very much.
I want to say thank you for the presentation. It was fun. What I learned was coping with patient stress, in that reducing the stress and improving the symptoms. I also learned about the communication skills. And what was strange or new today was about the memory cards that I learned.
Okay. A very big thank you. The workshop today was very much encouraging, very much educative. Like for us here as a mental health, clinicians or professionals, sometimes we from here to there we are going to be like speaking in tongue when we are talking about memory card, while other people are going to be thinking about cell phone, memory card. So it's a new thing, which I really admire it, and more especially like the sketch. It's another good thing too that I remember. So when you leave, you don't forget us. At least once a while, anytime you pay a visit, you make sure to remember us and come to us. Thank you very much.
I want to say thank you to you for that great presentation. You were very energetic, and energy level was very great. And this is my first time in this CBT training. I haven't attended any CBT workshop before. And I really enjoyed the guiding and telling process. And I also learned, though I came late, but I learned about some intervention with mental ill patients.
But again, we want to say thank you for coming back to your country. It was very good. The training was good. We learned a lot of things, and some were reviewed. Most especially the memory cards, the CEP. The SCAD. Yeah, they were all new things that we learned. And we hope to practice them with our patients. And we hope that you will come back to this country and bring more knowledge to us. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much for the training. Thank you for the new ideas and adding up to the old ones. New one of them was actually like 3 beliefs: automatic, intermediate, and core, that which I love so much. There were a lot that were reviewed as well. My suggestion got to do with, at times we have lack of drugs in this place. Certain times we send our patients home without medication. 2, 3, 4, 5 days they were back. So we plead with God through you that when you go back, please make way that we'll be able to have some drugs most of the time.
I want to say thank you for coming. I, for one, I really can get versed with the family members when they come to the care of the patient. I can go to the extent of blasting at them, where I get to know that it is worldwide. But in fact, there are certain places in which you commented on where somebody will be severely depressed and will need depressed medicine like the fluoxetine and the Prozac. But sometimes we don't even have it in the hospital. We are out of it totally. So I will ask that when you go, that you please help us with some, if you have some here to give it to us. Thank you again.
One last thing I forgot to say, thank you to you. We've been appealing for medication, but also we want to say that nowhere like home. We're so proud of you being a Liberian, young as you are, in such a field. So saying this is the only entity we have for Liberia now. We ask that if you go, if there's chance for anything like scholarship or whatnot, you can please think of us. We still want to further our education within the field.
Okay, Dr. Samuels, we just want to take this time on behalf of my colleagues and the Grand Hospital. We want to say a big thank you to you, even to our administrator with time. They don't really know to say thank you and goodbye, but the time here was very rewarding, and I don't know, but we feel very blessed having you, because all of the counselors that are sitting there, we know that when it comes to therapy, those are some of our weaknesses that we have, and we've been seeing how we can address these things. And we started some sessions already, But just the time we're supposed to get to CBT, and that's the time you came in. You see, so it was very rewarding. Like we said, there are a lot of new things we learned. There are some we have been doing, and those ones have been reinforced today. So I can really say that we were very much empowered by this presentation. And there are lots that we are now going to do, because as you can hear everybody talking about memory cards. So these are things that we feel that add to our strength, and we are going to add up. For one, the 3 C's is something that you can use, to help, because we have been doing some of these things before, but there are times when you catch up with some barriers with the patient, it's difficult to have a way around. And this 3C, it was something that we, really help you to find the means of, addressing some of these things. So I want to say a big thank you to you. And like they say, of course, a medication issue, we are here. Medication issue have been a big thing since we started to work here over the years. And like I said, we are in that need of deeper insight and knowledge when it comes to these things. This is the only referral hospital, psychiatric hospital in the country. So it may be big, but we will let you to think of maybe lobbying with your friends and police and other powers out there, so that they can come in at least try to train occupational therapists, train other therapists in Liberia here. The ones that we have, for me, I don't know about any, but occupational therapy, clinical social workers are people that are trained from outside there and came into the country. And they are very few, because as you can see here, you don't have much here. So that, if it can be a long-term plan, I want you to think about that, because we are really in need of those things. And Liberia will be in need of those expertise, especially as we plan to leave from here and go back to the rehab center, which is almost like 90 acres of land, and it's supposed to be, building the rehab back. We will need these people. And if you have people trained here now before, we move there, or even as we are there, Liberians are trained, it's much better than, experts coming and working and going back. Yeah, so we really want you to think in that direction. Overall, we say thank you for your time. Your presentations are great. There are a lot of things we can.
Jonah went to get everybody their copies, and he's still not back yet. I also have an evaluation form, because I'm always open to feedback and suggestions, and I hope he comes in time before I lose everybody. But I just personally want to thank you all so much for taking time out of your schedules just to sit here and listen to me yap away. I want to say I had a good time. You guys really were very smart, very quick on the draw, very bright bunch, and I really enjoyed kind of, learning this process with you guys. I am, I don't know, I'm honored just about what you guys do here. To me, it blows my mind that there's one mental health facility in the entire country, because just in my tiny little area that I work, there's like tons and tons and tons of them. So, maybe 10 in like a little tiny spot. So, it's amazing. Kudos to you guys. Thumbs up for all the hard work that you do. Our country, post-conflict Liberia, needs people like you. And I really, really wish that they would put mental health at the forefront, as opposed to putting on the back burner. Because just coming here and walking the streets and talking to people, you see that people need that service. You see that people are struggling, people need help, including ourselves as givers, as caregivers. So it was just nice to be able to share some of this stuff with you. I'm definitely going to take what you said. I'm going to look into further training and the various materials, psychotropic stuff. Well, I'll definitely look into that for you. I'm coming back in December for a family reunion, so hopefully most of you will be here, and maybe I can organize something else to kind of another training module, and hopefully I will keep it as exciting and as fun. All right, but thank you all so much. I really, really, really appreciate your time. Thank you. How are you?
I met some previously and I'm sorry that I couldn't participate in this. I'm sorry that I couldn't participate in this workshop.
was my plan to be a part of this workshop, but because of some basic schedule, I couldn't be here. But for and on behalf of the institution, I want to say thank you so much. We appreciate whatsoever gesture you have exhibited this morning to help us increase our knowledge. We hope that you come back again and be able to help us, as you said. This is our country, and we have to all go together to help our unfortunate brothers and sisters. Again, I want to say thank you, and may God take you back safely. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Sienko yo 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 nanke bede na yo ya. If you see me one empa depa, oba pa say di one de benya. You won't fence wo guadio. Me see me tini wija yo. Adia me penso na mi po. Me timi nya wa kwa Jordan. Me you ya na mi wane wo. Obi abayu abana be. Me singeli we na me wano. Nyontia siepa wonko we. Nanke bede na yo ya. Usu kurana me dono mo. Se musika nka mesida ya chenwo. Minya sika metonto mabama nwa. We nanti asietwa ye mwe. Nanke bede na yo ya. Necha na me dono. Abagi ya mu pedie. Isuba mpenti na mi wane. Nanke bede na yo ya. Ukanye de wase mudia na me dono mo. Ukano kurano na me dono mo. Mo nanke bede na yo ya. Bwe Obi abayo menye mi kunu na de. Menya mi bempa na mo mama so mo nyome. Bemme na suo ni mi bewa. Men so matia kan suo. Yesi mu obi don yo obi don tiro. Onwana me se mi don no amoma me no no e. Nanke bede na yo ya. Usu kurana me don mo. Obi do obi nti asia. Bisi be ma bo ya na mi ba. Woni binti na yende. Odon enim sika o. Bicheme chansi ya mama na sumonyo no. Mama na sunju na no amane wosu atonu. Nefa ne nyatwa pian tran upie. Enyira no pe wiane enyumiro. Na die ndesi oni mi bewa. Bo mismiri ni bewa. Nanke bede na yo ya. Owo anyi ne champon wana me dono. Eti no bia beka bi ya minti yo. Ayon boy ya bana be. Oniye wuna mamia. Missy me na mi dendo. Na won so si mi ni dai. No rinya and I'm Korea ya ba be ya ba. Nanke bede na yo ya. Nanke bede na yo ya.
can you do once more one I made on more? Oh, can of Koran I made on more. Nanke bede na yo ya. Yeah. Hey. Oh. Hey. Oh. Hey. Oh. Hey. Nana mejuma mi ye yo nyami amawai. Minyu mtwe mensi yane baby ya. I check in on your midi chamio. It's 2 time in 1 time ko. Utu me 2 I was saying wakura boy. If you say do nyami sure on now what you run why. Or time funti mean say no. Them say yeah wo baby ro. Echo bin kuana nkamewu. Echo bin kuana nkamasei. Nanke bede na yo ya. Usukura mia na me pro. Na me kana genseja. Nana so mado puti anye ni ajio. So na no me ya will be do me why. Nanke bede na yo ya. Me say na nenya me so mpe wadwen poninti wo shira me amara ko ho apene hu me ana wiyem pem say ye wo bebro utimi diana yem do show pem say ye wo bebra pem say ye wo bebro o pem say ye wo bebra nanke bende na yoya uju mukrana na nekro amamponsa wahinia ampa mi broni na mi friend wa Charlie pia wo fedia kumasi crow from now oyonko pa Mike hamburger bontin wa asante hinkro no 3 Mike sinke bede na yo ya yeah nanke bede nanke bede ya nanke bede na yo ya yeah nanke bede nanke bede ya nanke bede na yo ya usunami ya nanke bede na yo ya when you bring mukrano na me don mo o kana korano na me don mo nanke bede na yo ya yeah nanke bede nanke bede ya nanke bede na yo ya nanke bede yeah nanke bede ya nanke bede na yo ya
said one word, one people. Yes, he said one word, one people. But I can see black and white fighting every day.
Why discrimination in the world? Why discrimination in the world? Why discrimination in the world? Why discrimination in the world?
God made a world for a man to live, and he said one word, one people. Yes, he said one word, one people. But I can see black and white fighting every day.
Why discrimination in the world? Why discrimination in the world? Why discrimination in the world?
why my people crying in South Africa. Jaja say I don't know why my people crying in America. Oh Lord, Jaja say I don't know why my people crying in South Africa. Jaja say I don't know why my people crying in America. Oh Lord.
Why discrimination in the world? Why discrimination in the world? Why discrimination in the world? Why discrimination in the world?
Jaja say I don't know why my people crying in South Africa. Jaja say I don't know why my people crying in America. Oh Lord, Jaja say I don't know why my people crying in South Africa. Jaja say I don't know why my people crying in America. Oh Lord.
Why discrimination in the world? Why discrimination in the world? Why discrimination in the world? Why discrimination in the world?
I don't know why. Whoa, whoa, I don't know why. I don't know why. Whoa, whoa, I don't know why. I don't know why. Why discrimination in the world? I don't know why. Whoa, whoa, I don't know why. I don't know why.
Why discrimination in the
to introduce to you your president.
Babu want to become president.
That one not true.
Mosquito want to become president.
That one not true.
Poppy Dossett want to become president.
That one not true.
Crazy man you see want to become president.
That one not true.
Mr. Credit want to become president.
That one not true.
Mr. Lala man want to become president.
That one not true.
Yeah, president you wasting you.
That one not true.
Mr. Roro want to become president.
That one not true.
Diego. Now how the president business will be? We suffering for some more. Mr. Lala want to become president. President you see want to become president. Mr. John President. It can't be one angry. Let me tell you something. When they want to become president with Lala, they will come and say, as the president of the Republic of Liberia, I thank you people for introducing me as a president. The power invests in me as a president of the Republic of Liberia. I want to make sure I will bring the rest press down. Yeah. I'm going to pull all the fear press down. I'm going to bring the gasoline press down. Yeah. Kalolo want to become president. Yeah, you know easy again. You want to tell me say president wait? Charge money eat up become president? Trust take up become president? And now easy. Liberia will support you. When they be president to them, they will stand and say, I'm Mason. I will bring down Moldova and build you new Moldova. I'm going to make sure I'm not going to steal the government money. I'm going to make sure 7-7 get their back pay. I'm the president going to make sure that the AFL going to be paid in 2 weeks. I'm going to make sure the student going to get 12 buses. I'm going to make sure for the little children they say, I'm going to buy two plastic bags for them to poo-poo inside. Yeah. Babu, you see, want to become president. Mr. President want to become president. Mr. Drongo want to become president. Lala want to become president. Children Ripper want to become president. You know, easy, so free, Liberia. Listen to the speech. As a president of the Republic of Liberia, I'm going to make sure I'm going to electrify the city into 1 day time. As a president of the Republic, I'm going to dry the whole of the sea and build you people estate building. And things go bad. Republic of West Wind going to be an estate. Mr. President become president. Mr. Lala man want to become president. Mr. Roro want to become president. Mr. Dr. Dog want to become president. Mr. Kenju man want to become president. Mr. Ripasa want to become president. Mosquito want to become president. The girl you see say want to become president. Everyone want to become president. And you now when you want to become president. Yeah. President, yo. So we're suffering for president. So I want to become president. Guess we see you say they want to become president. Mosquito they say they want to become president.
on president. Look at that daily we eat want to bring on president. He can't happy, we won't agree, you can't become president. I said, he become president. Oh yeah, now you go, what problem? Let me go see what I can come on, friend. Oh, the president, they know he's a please come, let we see them who will become president.
Rutini, don't cry by yet. The president said, "Been in a worry, my ear." Me, I got one question to how will be president. But wait now, how can you become president? Nobody know you. How do you become president? How will you become president? Hey, free folk man now want to become president. All the self jagger they do, they won't become president. You gap in here, then you won't become president. Nobody know you, then you say you won't become president. Nobody can say infinity here, you won't become president. My brother, you can't become president. Standing as I follow you, come to Liberia, you say you won't become president. No, you can't become president. You don't even have how you become president. You don't even know your dollar, you won't become president. You cannot even speak your own tribe, you won't become president. I don't know why you get ready to say you won't become president. Nobody even know you, you won't become president. Nobody share money, eat your want to become president. Okay, wait, plenty of people become president. Who want to become president? The Japa people want to become president. Buka men, they want to become president. Swaggy, people, they want to become president. It can't happen, you can't become president.
All the camping men, let me see your hand up. You raise your hands up. Look at that thing, man won't be president. Coco won't become president. You can't agree, you can't become president, yo. All the champion people, you raise your hand up. Become president. I say Lala, become president. Mr. Timo, you see, want to become president. Kuka, you see, say want to become president. Loka, you then you say become president. After Bame want to become president. After Bahu, you want to become president. They can be the relation become president. I say, people, raise your hands. Let me see the registration people. Sunday, where you at? Budini, you see, myself want to become president. Sunday, said you see want to become president. And then Charlie said he want to become president. Little Pookie said he want to become president. These are good people for these cities. We are trying to call good names. Good name, become president. Good people can become president. Tini, Sunday, become president.
And another one, straight banger. You know this? na yau ranar jin daɗi ba fa da ko manya da yara ma sun yada. Tashi muje, tashi muje, tashi ku taka. Shi sa tashi kuje, just do da zonto. Kai, a zonto for me